magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
Welcome to magnets, crystals, and pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember, always who you are. Yes. Yes. I am love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am love. Yes. Power. Yes. I am love. Yes, I am love, wisdom, power. Yes, yes, I am love, wisdom, power. Master. Yes, I am. Yes, love, wisdom, power. Yes, I am. You say yes, to yourself. Yes, I am protected. Yes, I am master. I am relaxing.
Okay, greetings and welcome, family, to an auspicious date. Leo cycle of time, August 8th. This is the Lion's Gate. And before we bring on our featured guest tonight, Nana Dr. Kojo, I want us to be able in this time to take hold of our crystal, take hold of our prayer stick, take hold of a cup of water, and remember to be thankful and invite your magnificence, your divinity through this day with whatever you desire, because the portals, the galactic portals, are open to everything pertaining to our heart. Let me turn this upside down. I'm here in the lab creating sacred geometry on this day. So I want to say to you, the listening audience, thank you for being born. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for surviving conception and incarnation. For some of us experience conception, but we never make it to incarnation. So if you're listening to this show, you achieved incarnation, whether it was easy or not so easy. So I thank the divine in you, the I am in me. And we thank Ascended Masters, Saint Germain, Sheikh Amadou Bamba, Simeon Toko, Sanat Kumara, the host of angelic beings serving the rhythm of love supreme. So tonight, my brother, I want to welcome you.
Thank you.
Kafunya made it on time. She's going to host you while I do the mixing of the most in the background. So without further ado, Kafunya is on you.
The mixing and the mingling. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
And please, I don't want to mess up your beautiful name. Can you tell me how to pronounce it?
Sure, most definitely. I am Nana Dr. Kojo Haruku-T.
Kojo. So I'm going to, if you don't mind, call you Dr. Kojo for the evening.
Most definitely. That is fine.
Well, when Uncle Hanky asked me to host tonight, I said, well, why not? You know? And the fact that you're doing some tremendous work on the motherland was very intriguing to me, because we need to build just like we build America, and they took the best and the brightest from the motherland, Africa, and also the fact that some of us, like they said, some of us were here already in the Americas, but when they did that, when they captured
Mm-hmm.
free people and
Mm-hmm.
made them come over to the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
made them come over to the Americas, both
Mm-hmm.
North and South.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
they really took the brightest
Mhm.
and the
What
best.
Sister Dr. Marimba Ani calls the Ma'afa.
The
The
Ma'afa, okay,
Ma'afa, the great tragedy, calamity of the Middle Passage. Uh,
yes,
and it's interesting that you bring it up because that's what started this journey for me in terms of the creation of the Ananse Center for Arts and Culture. So maybe I'll start there, and then we'll go back in time and talk about the role of arts and creativity. So
absolutely, absolutely. I also feel that we can accomplish more with our fiat over on the motherland
mm,
than even here. Because
mm,
someone was talking about,
mm,
like if you have like maybe 50,000 US dollars and you go to Nigeria, you're almost a millionaire.
well, with that exchange rate,
Right.
but
With the exchange.
yeah, but it's also thinking about how we go, why we go, the spirit in which we go, the
Right.
context. Because what we don't want to do is those of us in the diaspora go and repatriate to the continent, to Africa, and gentrify,
Right.
you know, gentrify communities there like our communities in the diaspora. And I'll speak specifically in New York because, born and raised in the People's Republic of Brooklyn. The
Oh,
ways in
wow.
which the ways in which our communities have been gentrified by people here. So it's about, again, the spirit in which we go, the
The
purposefulness,
mindset.
intention, the consciousness that we make that repatriation, and that's what happened to me. So in December of 2023, I
Hmm.
participated in a study tour of Ghana, and that study tour included cultural sites that are important to Ghanaian history and society. It included sites that were specific to the European transatlantic trade in slavery, and it was actually in one of those dungeons in
Oh, yeah.
so we visited a number of them, in particularly in the Cape Coast area. And I'm someone who, and brother Uncle Hunk realized this and knows this because we knew each other for like 30 years back. I was initiated in the Kemetic movement, so I'm also a Kemetic priest. As why one of my names is Haruku T, and I also trained with Dr. Maladoma Some, who was elder of the Dagara Dagba community. And so in going into the slaving dungeons, I connected with
Oh,
two ancestors on my maternal line. One who I knew, that was my maternal great grandmother, who was a Garveyite, had Black Star Line stuff, and I knew her as a child. And then another ancestor whose name I didn't know at the time, but both of them charged me with repatriating our family back to our ancestral lands in Africa. And again, I was on that study tour, but I had no intention on on any of that. I was just going, continuing my lifelong learning and journey as a practitioner of traditional African spirituality, as a scholar, as a cultural organizer and artist. That was it. But being being grounded in that reality, I listened to my ancestors.
Of course.
You
Of
know what I'm
course.
saying?
Of
They
course.
charge you. That charge is important because it's a relationship. It's a relationship. And so uh, I uh, I said yes, and I'm going to need your support in doing it. And
Yes.
I need the support of community. So I came back and I shared this call with family and friends, and out of that came the vision for a cultural and creative arts center
Yeah.
where Black creatives, artists, culture bearers, keepers of African and Black wisdom traditions can come together and use arts and culture to learn how to be cousins again.
I
You know,
love it. I
from the
love
diaspora, from the continent, we could come together in the example of the maroonage. You know, we need space that um, is defended against the forces of European and Western and outsider settler colonialism and imperialism and white supremacy and capitalism. We need that protective space in
Yeah.
order for us to think through and reason together a way forward, dream together, freedom dream together. And when I say reason together, I'm not talking about in that intellectual European Western kind of process. I'm talking about through the body, through ritual, through
Yes.
through the creation of art, through singing together and moving together and making together and creating together and conjuring together. Out of that will come what we need as a global Pan-African community to not only survive this current moment of empire both collapsing on itself and expanding, right?
Yes.
And the beyond just that surviving, moving into our birthright of freedom, liberation, justice, wellness, being able to breathe again.
Yeah, without looking over your shoulder and
Mhm.
without people judging you for your spacesuit.
Hey,
You know,
hey.
with the copper color, black tourmaline, the mahogany color of our skin tone.
Hey,
You,
dig it,
I
dig it.
mean, you still have those people who are in that colonial mind about, if you're white, you're all right. If you're black, you get back. If you're brown, you turn around.
Mm,
That's slowly peeling away
mm,
from our consciousness.
mm,
So you have taken the task from your ancestors to build this cultural center. What part of Ghana is it? Is it happening, or is it built already, or what's going on?
So we have obtained a 50-year lease, and for a lot of folks don't know about how land is transferred, how land operates in various places in Africa. It's different than in the United States. So in Ghana, one they don't have a capitalist European approach to land. One cannot own land. The land is communal, and it is overseen, it is cared for by traditional leaders, what are called chiefs, or nanas and queen mothers.
Like Earth Keepers.
Hey, dig it. And so what one can do is one can have a lease on the land. And
Yes.
if you're a non-Ghanaian citizen, you can have a 50-year lease. If you're a Ghanaian citizen, you can have a 99-year lease. So I went around Ghana in 2024 and looking in various places, and finally connected with the village of Akatachua, which is in the central region of Ghana.
Okay.
And so, say it again.
I said, okay, I'm listening. Yes.
And so we entered into a land transfer and have a 50-year lease on land in the village of Akatachua. And we're welcomed into that community as members of that community. It's a Fanti community in Akatachua. So that's where we will be entering in the next phase of our work, which is clearing the land and preparing it for construction. In fact, this image that you see before me is a part of the rendering of what we're looking at, the concept of the center, where we're using traditional architectural and building methods, building with the earth, all right? Because that indigenous wisdom has been proven now through Western science, Western education, that the ancients, our indigenous folks, knew what they were doing. It is ecologically sound to build
Yes.
with those kinds of materials and in those kinds of ways. It is in harmony with the energy and the rhythm of the earth and of the universe to build in that way. So we want to draw upon that indigenous wisdom and integrate it with contemporary methods. So we're going to have solar panel. It's like, okay, well, you in West Africa, the most abundant resource is the sun. Why?
Yes.
We got engage that raw energy, that solar energy. We're gonna engage in indigenous practices and contemporary practices around farming and around the natural world, so we are in harmony with it, and build rehearsal studios and a performance space and art studio and music and video production studio, so that we can teach art. We can engage in art education, but not art education just to make pretty things.
Right.
Not art education just so someone can become a millionaire or billionaire. But we're grounding the art education in what's called cultural organizing. How do you use art and culture to bring your community together, to address its needs, its problems, to dream its freedom, its liberation? So
That makes complete sense to me, because my understanding is everything happens in the non-physical world, in the spiritual world first, and then it manifests itself in the material. So I feel if you're grounded within your spiritual self, you will definitely get intuitive guidance and guidance from our ancestors, for real. You know.
And the distinction that the Western world, European world, has made between art or creativity and spirituality is not one that we have held traditionally as African people. That in actuality, artistic practice is a spiritual practice, and spiritual practices have an aesthetics. There is a beauty that is attached to them. And not beauty in a superficial way, beauty in a sense of understanding what rhythm is. We talk about, for example, in the African American context, what funk music is. James Brown talking about being on the one. Being on the one is a musical concept in terms of funk, but it is a spiritual concept as well.
And it is infused with nature.
Yeah, because
as well.
It is all interconnected for us.
Right.
We come from a place of synthesis.
Yes. And also, that's why the British and whoever collect our art, you understand? They collect all of the nature beings that, the people who created the art. They have them in museums and everything, and then they charge people.
Yep. You look at the what the Met has in terms of comedic objects. Right. Talk about West African and Central African. You talk about, for example, the what they would call fetish or minkisi, the objects that have the statues that have objects nailed into them, the glass or other kinds of metals. Like, that is not merely art. That is a conversation that community is having with their environment based upon their understanding of the laws that govern the elements of air, water, fire, earth,
nature.
Yep. Nature.
And I think like I was having a conversation with a professor, Rhonda Brown, and she was talking about how the people who are, looking into sovereignty and, wanting really to be free, like the FBA and all of these ADOs and all of that stuff, for me, it represents, number one, division, okay? And number two, they're not grounded in spirituality. You have to be grounded in spirituality when you're wanting to do these things, because everything happens in the spirit world first. Then it's made manifest. So there's a flaw there's two flaws in what they're doing. Number one, the division, dividing people. We don't need to be doing that right now, okay? Because you have the identity of melanin. Melanin is your identity, whether you're from Jamaica, whether you're from Mexico, wherever. We all have different chemistries, not all chemistries mix, but the fact that you have the identity of a melanin person. And we should, definitely, respect each other, and not try to take over, so I'm not with that whole FBA stuff in the Edos. I'm not in there. I'm about me personally. I'm about unity, and we might not always agree, but we can agree on food, clothing, shelter, having respect for nature, and beyond. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I feel you. So the diaspora wars, as they're now called. So part of my training as a priest, both particularly in the Kemetic tradition, but also with Malidoma, is around conjuring and clarity of perspective. I'm trying to frame this in a way that folks who have not been initiated can understand. But another way of saying it here is symbols. So this eye, the Uchat, the eye of Ra and the eye of Heru, represents the ability to see into the essence of things.
Of course. I mean, look at Look at the U.S. dollar. Look
So,
at the U.S.
so
Sorry for interrupting.
as I reflect on these diaspora wars, I think about for timing, because again, rhythm is a part of what African people, African wisdom, in part is about rhythm, time,
Mhm.
and the timing. So if we look at when the diaspora wars happened, so there was the diaspora wars that started. People were complaining about the Essence Fest and the degree to which Essence Fest was staying true to its roots in the culture that African people who were descendants of Africans enslaved in the United States.
Mhm.
Right? Then then after that, there was the conversation about boycotting African businesses that African Americans boycotting African businesses. So and more. Why then? Well, if we look at what happened a few months ago, when the U.S. government and the French government attempted to uh, explicitly threaten Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, and the alignment between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger in terms of anti-colonialism and African unity, African empowerment, and the the Black world responded and started to on social media say hands off Burkina Faso, hands off Ibrahim, right? And so you think about how how COINTELPRO worked. We think about how the agendas and the practices of imperial and colonial interests operate. This diaspora war is a direct attempt to destabilize that unity that was being promoted, that unity that was being expressed across the Black world. So
Right.
the timing of these things, the rhythm of these things, if you understand timing and rhythm, you can begin to understand why things are happening, when they're happening, and in whose interest does it serve,
Of course.
what's its intended purpose. Yeah.
Well, the
So,
thing of it is how I see it, Dr. Kojo, is that what I've seen across the world in my young life, I have seen that I have never seen the outpouring of love for that brother Ibrahim Touré. I
mhm.
have never seen it, and that was across the
Yep.
world, and it's still
And
happening.
it scared people who want to maintain
The
colonial
status quo,
and
yeah.
imperial. It scared them because
But
that yeah, yeah.
if you look at it, we that are living in the diaspora who were under colonial rule, just like Africa was,
Mhm.
but because we're in the so-called belly of the beast, we can see how they operate even more than the people who are on the continent. Because living here, we knew more about Africa in different places than the people who are on the continent. But because of the internet now and all of these social media platforms, the word can get out
Mhm.
to what's really going on. And let me tell you something, brother. Enough is enough.
Mm,
Enough vampirism
mm.
going on. There was no infrastructure done. It was just like vampires feeding off the material, the resources of Africa. Look, the
And it's
Western world needs Africa more than Africa needs the Western world. Because even speaking on this computer, using the phone, using a lot of different things. And like Brother Bob Marley said, wake up and live. Wake up and live. And by the grace of the Almighty, the blinders or the sleeping giants are waking up, because it is what it is. No more vampirism, no more stealing. And I love what Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are doing, because they're saying Africa first. There's no reason why Africa should be poor. Africa is poor because of the leaders who sell out.
Yeah. Well, and
To
Africa is right. Africa is rich.
Yes.
And as you said, Africa is being extracted from. Africa is being drained of its richness. That its resources do not serve its people, because Europe and in particular the imperialist nations of Europe, talk about the quote unquote United Kingdom, Great Britain, or England, I should say, really.
Disgusting.
France. You look at what the Dutch did. You look at what Belgium did. So, like, you have these European nations, and then you have the United States, was a European American nation, and they are the ones that divided up the continent of Africa.
Exactly. 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 Exactly.
And so in part of the work that I did on the study tour was to connect with what happened to us. Those of us who experience the Middle Passage, the Ma'afa, and the descendants of what happened to us. And what I realized was there were two major pieces, two major processes that turned us into what we became: the March and the Narrows. So the March, what you learn when you go to Ghana is, and you go to sites like the slaving forts. You go to sites like Ansu Mansu, which is the river of the last bath. And you hear the stories. And then if you go further into Ghana, to Ashanti territory, and then up even north, to some of the northern areas where people were just picked off, slaving raids were happening, and folks were brought from those areas then into the Asante region, then from Asante region into the southern coastal areas where the forts were. So people who were captured from their community were marched sometimes upwards of 3 or 4 months from wherever their home community was to places like Ansu Mansu, the river of the last bath. And at the river of the last bath, which is still some distance from the coast, they were forced to bathe. Right? And bathe not because they want to give them relief and restore and renew them, not to clean them up for their own dignity. It was to clean them off so that they would fetch a higher price at the auction block once they were marched to the
telling you, brother,
auction block. Okay? So that march, though, if you think about, and again, this is why there's a power to arts and creativity, right? Because if you get into that embodied experience of that march, what you begin to recognize is how that march, starting 400 years ago, continues today with the demands of productivity on Black bodies, the ways in which we are taught to
I'm
work
telling you, brother.
From sun up to sundown. We're taught to identify only with our work, that our value only is in what we do and not who we are.
Right.
The ways in which we are on these jobs and are policed, our productivity, our embodiment, the ways we speak, the ways we move, the ways we dress, are all policed and measured around how much profit we can make for someone else.
Somebody else, yes.
That march, all right, made us alienated from our own bodies, because in order to endure that, you have to disassociate. You have to remove.
You have to disconnect. And you know what I wanted to say, brother? The fact of it is that I can't, the frequency and the energy that's within those people who put us like animals on auction blocks. I mean, I cannot. I even have posters of how they did it in South Carolina, where they put, you know, our people on auction blocks and everything like that. And do you think that same energy is still here, but on a different? It's the same, but it's dressed up in a different costume.
Exactly. That the march still continues. See, they really don't deviate from the script. They just kind of they make a tweak on it and update it. It's like the March 2.0. You know, it's like when you get a new update. It's still the same thing, and you just add a little tweaker there to it. So the other one, before the auction block, is the Narrows. And so when you go to the forts, one of the things that you'll notice about the architecture is that there are ways in which the architecture was designed to create narrow spaces for the African hostages to live within or to move within. Either the passageways that they were allowed to walk in were narrow.
I know.
The dungeons were so packed with people, oftentimes in a space that was mostly dark. So much so that there were many folks, who actually went blind in the dungeons, waiting to be sold off and to be sent on the ships, because they were in darkness for so long. And those folks, what they would do is they would then, if they knew that they were blind, they wouldn't actually put them on the ships. They would let them go and let them out into the local community. But remember, these were folks who may have been marching for 3 to 4 weeks to 3 to 4 months from their home. So how are they going to get back? Not just in terms of maybe not having traversed that path before, but how are they going to do it blind?
And the other thing we have to remember too is that we have to blame, I don't like to blame, but the interior, those Europeans, those Arabs, and the so-called Zulus who participated was not able to get into the interior of the motherland and these different countries if somebody else was not involved that looked melanin just like us too. And Nigeria admitted that, as well as, I don't know if Ghana did or not, but the fact of it remains is that when you look at the situation that has went on, it's like, I have a poem called "What About the Black Man's Holocaust?" because it was a Holocaust. You understand? And the thing of it is that the unveiling is happening, Dr. Kojo. It is happening. It's happening because look at you. You're building something in Africa, in Ghana, that will enrich. Not only, when I say enrich, I don't mean monetary wise. I'm talking about spiritually and physically. And if there is some currency to come out of it, it will serve the community first. Just like Ibrahim Torre is
Exactly.
the, I can't say anymore, but I'm very, very proud of you that you listen to your ancestors, you listen to the prompting, because obedience gives its rewards for sure.
And the as I said before, I'm a healer. So this is a healing project. This is a mission to repair the breach. This is a
Yes.
call to how can we be cousins again?
Yes.
We heal what was torn, what was desecrated, what was pushed down, what was stripped apart and stripped away. How can we heal that?
Yes.
Because it is at that place of healing that we can begin to talk about how we distribute and share funds, how we engage in cooperative economics and solidarity economics.
Yes.
It's how we can unpack what it means to be Black from a place of healing, because the diaspora wars I witness as a trauma response.
Of course.
That people are hurting, right? That gentrification that we spoke about earlier, when descendants of Africans who were enslaved in the United States look around their communities and see how so many people have been dislocated in their communities, that historic Black neighborhoods and Black communities have been decimated by disinvestment and gentrification. And that hurts to not
right. And it's to our own means ends as well, because we did have the Black Wall Streets. We did have the Oklahoma places where we had our own businesses, our own sports, our own doctors, our own schools. But like I said, or like I'm saying, that integration was a trick. I realized that integration was a trick. I realized that I don't have to move into a white community or go into a white school in order to be educated. I don't know. That's something that has been embedded in my DNA. Living in a Black country. Huh?
You didn't want to integrate into a burning house.
Right. Like Dr. Martin Luther King said, he realized that he made a big error.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And even before integration, the extraction was still there. So like you talk about Tulsa, you talk about the Greenwood neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was a thriving Black community. And because it was a thriving Black community, it was attacked because these folks are dealing with a hungry ghost within themselves. They're dealing with a hungry ghost that calls them to feed, an insatiable hunger that causes them to feed. So they extract from the earth. They extract from other cultures and other communities, other peoples. They extract from fossil fuels. It is an extraction culture because they're trying to feed an insatiable hungry ghost.
I know. So, okay. So what is your, well, first of all, I want to know how people can get in contact with you.
Definitely. So we are on Instagram and Facebook at Ananse Arts and Culture.
Hold on a minute. Uncle Hanky, can you put that in the showrunner, how we can contact Nana, Dr. Kojo, please?
So
Or
yeah,
you can type it in too, because you're backstage, right? You could chat with everyone in the studio. Do you see that part?
okay. Let me see if I can put that in there.
Right. And also your website, all of your information, and how people can perhaps invest in what you're doing as well.
Definitely.
And perhaps a phone number where people can get in contact with you. And when will you be going back to Ghana?
So I am going back within the next month or so that we can begin the next phase of the project. And I'm putting in our funding page. We are fiscally sponsored by Fractured Atlas, which is a nonprofit that works with artists and creatives around the world.
Beautiful.
And so I put into the chat. I don't know if you can you see it there? I put into the
I
chat.
I can see it, the chat with everyone in the studio. Let me see if let me see, hold on. I'm waiting for Uncle Hanky to put it in the showrunner so people can follow you. Did you put your Instagram? Are you on Facebook as well?
Yep, we're on Instagram and Facebook.
Did you put the Facebook in?
And I did not put the Facebook in, but I can do that as well.
Please do. I'm gonna let Uncle Hanky know that there's information in the showrunner.
So hopefully that went in the.
Oh yeah, he put it up. Mm-hmm.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah,
And
because the thing of it is like when I was listening to earlier on, they did a 888 portal event, Red Pillar, and he had different people talking about economics and whatnot, and how we can pull our resources together to
exactly.
do positive things. And that's why it's important that your information should go up, just in case people want to help, and then people would be able to watch this after
Definitely. Yep.
the event as well. Mm-hmm.
And because we are sponsored by Fractured Atlas, the contributions that folks make are tax deductible in the United States. So folks can use that. What we're building is an ecosystem in which we're a social enterprise. So there's going to be a nonprofit arm of what we do, and a for-profit cooperative where folks can, Black creatives, cultural organizers can be a part of that as members and pool resources.
Yes.
That support the work of the Ananse Center. So
and the other thing, we have spent trillions and trillions of dollars in America, and you have great businesses, melanated businesses that are doing well. However, until all of those who want to do something, with those trillions of it's just so disgusting to me. How people can come into our community, make all the money, do absolutely no contribution back to it. I mean, there's a brethren who did something by boycotting Target, and Target. Did you hear about that?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and the trick bag is that capitalism is set up so that only a few will benefit. And so we have to practice systems that provide the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people. We need to engage
Exactly.
in cooperative economics. We need to engage in collaboration and solidarity economics, where we are sharing resources, where we all eat, where it's not where we have individuals who are succeeding and the vast majority
It's
are
not.
struggling. We
Right.
need systems and relationships that feed all of us. And a part of that is, again, that decolonial healing.
Right.
It's healing from the trauma of the March and the Narrows that have divided us, internally from ourselves. Our bodies are distinct from our spirits, distinct from our emotions, distinct from, like, and then we're divided amongst each other. Oh, you across skin tone,
Right.
across class,
It's
across
crazy. It's
across
crazy.
across gender, across sexuality, across all of these things. Like,
Division and confusion, and that's done by negative vibrations. Because of course you want your brother or sister or your kin, you know, to be winners. I mean, that's what I want. I would love to see everyone win. And I would love to see those people who want to have an opportunity to bring something to the planet Earth to be able to do that. And they may need funding. So that funding should be available to the people, because my whole thing is that the Most High God, wherever you want to call Allah, Jah, whatever, has made enough for everybody for you to tap in if you want to. You know what I'm saying? So I honor you for the work that you're doing, my brother. And another mention that I want to say to you is that there is this beautiful store in Bed-Stuyvesant called Nicholas Brooklyn.
I know I've done a spoken word event at Nicholas.
Right.
Yeah. Me and brother Rajni Edwards did a spoken word piece there called "Call and Response." Two black poets having a very black conversation. So yeah,
Right.
I definitely know. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a family owned business. They've been in business for more than the 50th anniversary plus,
Mm.
and they are being supported. And I'm very, very thankful that the community uh, abroad and locally is supporting that store,
Yes.
because it's a cultural hub. It's not just uh, for events, it's also health and wellness products. It's also teaching young people who want to go into business. I love working with Nicholas Brooklyn. So a special shout out to Monique, who is taking over from her dad,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Nicholas. And Mr. Nicholas had a vision. So you know, when you are into yourself, so to speak, and you have these gifts, because everyone on the planet, I believe and I know, has a gift. And some people have not opened their gifts. But I think with the unveiling that is happening, you know, people more and more are going into their creative force, because don't you know that ye are gods? You know, we're born to create.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And not everybody is going to have their own business and everything, but if they don't, that at least they can support, you know, melanated businesses, you know, like the so-called zoos do.
Mm.
None of their money leaves their community until everything is taken care of within their community. And if they have something left over, then they might go out to other people and whatnot. But I applaud you to what you're doing. Is there anything else you would like to add to this broadcast and the works that you're doing, and who are you working with?
Dig it, dig it. So I want to thank you and the brother
Uncle
Uncle
Hanky.
For this conversation, inviting me to come on. And I agree with you. We are at a critical time, and the arts and creativity play a pivotal role because they allow us to tap into the unseen,
Yes.
the unspoken, the unspeakable, and make sense and make sense of that. And that sense making grounds us in who we are, what our purpose is, and how to fulfill that purpose.
Yes, my brother.
At this critical time, when, as I said, the empires are both collapsing on themselves and expanding,
Yes.
as African people, as Black people, as First Peoples, are charged with coming into our own,
Yes.
not as victims, but as representatives of the beginning of the beginning. And,
Mm.
and to hold forth and call forth accountability, to hold forth and call forth the reckoning and the balance. Because if we don't, the earth will. That's what climate change is about.
Yeah.
If we don't, the oceans will rise.
As they are.
If we don't, the fires will heat up as
I
they
say. I say.
And so we are tasked with a responsibility that's actually interesting, because our journey would tell us that it's a place of victimhood, but in actuality, it's from a place of authority and sovereignty.
There you go.
So
So do you have a number where people can reach out to you as well, or you prefer, through Instagram, through the social platforms,
yeah,
or through the website?
we prefer through the website and the social platforms.
Okay.
I'll get back to you. In terms of who I'm working with, so we have a trustee circle that is our board of directors.
Yes.
It includes artists, creatives, gardeners, healers, facilitators who I've known over the last 30 years of my practice. And we are going to be expanding that to include folks in Ghana once I'm back in country and starting to build the next steps of the project. So we have cultural organizers and creatives and folks who do cultural immersion practices already and businesses in Ghana, and we're partnering with folks to do that. We're also partnering with folks like the Nomadic Archivist Project, which is a project of an organization of Black archivists who were formerly working at the Schomburg, who now work
Beautiful.
with Black organizations on reimagining what an archive can be from an authentic Indigenous place. We're working with other institutions, both here and in Africa, to collaborate to build a community and a network of folks toward giving birth to this vision. So thank you so much.
And I want to ask you, do you know a gentleman by the name of Vosa Rivers?
What's the first name?
Vosa Rivers.
No, I don't believe I do.
Oh, okay. Because he has done a lot, and I think that would be a good person to tap into. I'm going to put my number in the chat, and you could reach out to me.
Cool. Thank you.
And he may be interested in assisting you.
Cool.
Let me see, 347-972-090. And do you also invite other people who might be interested in working with you as well?
Most definitely. Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
It takes a community to make something like this happen and make something like this possible. So most definitely, we're looking for financial resources, but we're also looking for other kinds of resources, creative, professional, sweat equity research. Like we're looking for folks to bring their gifts.
Okay.
When I think it was Audre Lorde who said, when I put my gifts in service of my vision, it matters little that I'm afraid. So we are calling forth folks who have gifts to share, so that we can create those reciprocal relationships of sharing gifts.
Okay, so that means if they go to the website, they could find the information. Let's say if you find a farmer or architect or something like that, they would be able to submit that information on your website.
They'd be able to, yeah, they'd be able to contact us through the website or contact us through social media. They can get
Beautiful.
us through social media.
Uncle Hanky, are you there? Uncle Hanky, where are you?
Probably hands filled with some crystals or some metal.
Oh no, he's he's in the lab. Let me see if I can get him to come back as we close out. Um,
Okay, Cafonia, close it out.
There
I'm
we
in
go.
okay,
lab zone.
I'm gonna close it out with some frequencies. Ashe, Ashe, Ashewa. Thank you, my brother.
Ashe. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Uncle Hanky.